previous class, what we discussed, that is yesterday? Anyone? Yeah? Come on, you all are youngsters. You should have you have more memory power than me. Yeah.
Sir, we discussed about the material variance.
Yeah. So we were discussing about, we solved the problems on material variances. And after that, I gave introduction about labor variances. Okay. So labor variances will occur because of, sometimes there is a lockdown or there is some breakdown in the machinery. Okay. Or there is changes in the quality of work, what they're supposed to do and what they're not doing it. Or sometimes the design will change. For that, they need to get a training and then they have to adopt to the new process of production. So what happened? There is a variance will keep appearing. So that is what we have discussed in the previous class. Various reasons for variances. Again, like material variances, we have different variances we can calculate, and that variances can be analyzed, and the management will take a proper decision to control the variances if the deviation is more, the variations is too much. Okay. So last class, I was telling you the different variances. I was explaining to you. So what are the different variances we saw yesterday under labor variances? So we saw labor cost variances. So I told everyone to write down. Hope all of you written down the formulas. All of you written in the notes. So labor cost variance we have to calculate, that is standard cost minus actual cost. Then labor rate variances, that is standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. Okay. And then labor time efficiency or variance, time or efficiency variance, that is standard hours minus actual hour into standard rate. And then idle time is nothing but the time which is being lost or it is not productive. Maybe for example, there is a breakdown in the factory. So during that time, the employees will not able to work. Got it? That is idle time. Or there is a power cut or there is a strike which is happening in the factory. So that what happened, that becomes a unproductive time. The unproductive time is called as idle time. So idle time variance also they calculate. So the formula is idle hours. How many hours the employees were idle into standard rate. And as a word idle, the moment we say the idle time means the moment the employees are idle, that means they are not doing any work. They're not doing any job. That means what? They are free. And that is the time when they are not doing any work, so there is no any productivity coming out. So that is a loss to the company. The idle time is a loss to the company. That is why the idle time will always show unfavorable. Even though when you calculate, you may not get negative answer or you may not get minus answer. Even if you get positive answer, still it is a unfavorable because the concept itself is a loss to the company. Got it, student? And next, labor mix variance, that is revised standard hours minus actual hours into standard rate. And then labor revised efficiency variance, standard rate minus RSH into RS. Okay, that is the standard rate. And then labor yield variance, actual yield minus standard yield from actual output into standard labor cost per unit of output. Okay, so these are the variances. So if you can just compare between the material variances and labor variances, we can see a lot of similarities. There is only one difference is in the material variances, we will be using quantity, standard quantity and actual quantity. Here, that quantity has been replaced with standard hours and actual hours. I'm telling this only to make you to easy to memorize the formulas. It will be very easy for you to memorize the formulas and remember the formulas when we have to calculate the variances. Okay, students? Any doubt? Shall we go to the problems now? So I hope all of you written the formulas which I already told yesterday. So we will do question number 4. So now I request anyone please read the Question number 4 for us. Anyone?
The following information is given. Standard hours per unit 18, standard rate rupees 5 rupees per hour, actual data, actual production 1000 units, actual hours 18,200 hours, actual rate rupees 4.90 per hour, calculate labor cost variance, labor rate variance, labor efficiency variance, and idle time variance. Assume idle time 100 hours.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ma. So he has given us, it's a very small problem. So he is not having any other multiple type of workers. The type of worker is only one workers. So he has not given any classification. Okay. So in the material variance, we will get different materials. But here, when we calculate the labor variances, we will get different grade or different class of workers. Like for example, you can see in the previous question, next question, you can see there, he has given three types of workers category. That is skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled. Got it? But here he has not given. So there is only one type of category of workers they are involved here to do a particular job. Okay. Now coming to the question, he has given us standard hour per unit. Standard hours per unit. That means to manufacture one unit, the standard hour they should take is 18 hours. And standard rate is 5 rupees per hour. And the actual production is 1000 units what they have manufactured. And actual hours is 18,200 hours. And actual rate is 4.9 hours. Okay, per unit or per hour it is 4.9 is a actual rate. Got it? So we need to calculate labor cost variance, labor rate variance, and labor efficiency variance and idle time variance. And for idle time, he has told, he's telling us to assume the 100 hours as a idle time. Okay, yeah. Okay, student, did you understand the question? Shall we go to the solution now? Any doubt? Yeah. Only thing is we have to calculate total standard hours. Here is given 18 for one unit because here the actual hours he has given for total work, total job what they are doing. Okay. So 18,200 is given. But here standard hour is given per unit. So how to calculate total standard hours? Anyone? Can you tell me? Yeah, it's very simple if you're not getting okay. So he has given us the actual production. How much is actual production, students?
1000 units.
1000 units. Yeah. So 1000 units they manufacture and standard hour per unit is 18. So how much should be for 1000 units of production, standard hours? Just multiply 18 into 1000.
18,000.
18,000. Got it? So 18,000 is standard hours and actual hours is 18,200. Okay? Yeah. So let us do now the problem. Let me zoom my spreadsheet. It will be easy for you to recognize it. Yeah. So first we will calculate. Okay, I have already written it here. What all is given us. So he has given us standard hour rate per unit. So then we have to multiply with 1000 units. That's the total production. You will get total standard hours is 18,000 to complete a particular job or production of 1000 units. And the standard rate is 5 rupees. Actual hours he has given 18,200 and actual rate is 4.9. Okay, so let us substitute. So what is the formula for labor cost variance? Hope all of you written on the formula in your notes. So what is the formula? The formula is standard hours for actual output into standard rate. That will get the standard hours, standard cost minus actual hours into actual rate. When you multiply, we will get the actual cost. Okay. So let us do it now. So standard hours is we got 18,000. Standard rate is 5 rupees. Okay. Minus actual hours is 18,200 and actual rate is 4.9. So let me substitute here. Yeah. So please calculate, students. So 1000 into 18 into 5, how much you'll get? Please tell me quickly.
$90,000.
How much?
90,000.
19,000. Okay. Others, how much? And what about the standard? Standard cost is how much you're getting? 18,200 into 4.9.
89,180.
Yeah. So 90,000 minus 89,180. So minus that, you'll get the labor cost variance. Calculate.
820.
820. Adverse or favorable?
Favorable.
It is favorable. Okay. So labor cost variance is favorable. Next, labor rate variance. So labor rate variance formula is standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. So standard rate he has given us how much? 5 rupees, and actual rate is 4.9, and actual hours is 18,200. So substitute that and please calculate how much you're getting.
1820.
1820. That is 5 minus 4.9, you'll get 0.1. When you multiply, how much you're getting?
820.
Yeah, 1,820. Adverse or favorable?
Favorable.
Favorable.
Favorable. Yeah, you have to write that. Don't forget. Next, labor efficiency variance. So what is the formula? Standard hours for actual output minus actual time into standard rate. And already we calculated standard hours for actual output only. That's actual output is 1,000. So we have multiplied with 18. So already we have that. And actual time is 18,200. And standard rate is how much?
5.
5 rupees. Yeah. So calculate labor efficiency variance minus
Minus
200
1,000.
into 5. How much you'll get?
1,000.
Yeah,
1,000.
adverse or favorable?
Adverse.
Yes.
Adverse.
Adverse. Yeah, negative answer. So you can write adverse. That is unfavorable. And idle time formula is very simple. The idle time, what is given there in the question, multiplied by standard rate. How much idle time he has given in the question? How much?
100 hours.
100 hours. How much is standard rate? 5 rupees.
5.
Yeah, so calculate.
500.
So 100 into 5, it is 500. And adverse or favorable?
Favorable.
Why favorable? It is adverse. I have
It is-
told no just now. Why? Because idle time variance is a loss. The idle time is a loss to the company. So whenever the employee is not working, that means the company, it is a loss to the company. So that is why the idle time variance will be unfavorable. I told you, even if you calculate, you may not get minus 500 or negative answer, but still you have to write adverse, because it's a, by concept, the idle time itself is a loss to the company. So it's always a unfavorable. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now we have to again, we should check, right, in the material variances. Same way we can check for labor cost, labor variances. So our labor cost variance should be equal to labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance. So when it is equal, then your answer is correct. So labor cost variance, how much we got, students? 820 favorable, right? Labor cost variance. And labor rate variance, we got 1,820. Again, it is favorable. And efficiency, we got 1,000 adverse. So let us calculate and check whether it is coming equal on both the sides. Just write that 820 favorable is equal to 1,820 favorable plus 1,000 adverse. Adverse means it is negative, okay? So when you're calculating, you take it as a negative 1,000 minus 1,000. So please calculate and check whether it is equal both the sides.
Yes, sir. Equal. 820.
Is the equation tally? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah. So it is 820 favorable is equal to 820 favorable on the both the side. That means your answer is correct. Did you understand, students, how to calculate labor variances? Any doubt? Anybody has any doubt? Did you understand? Please tell me. If you understood, please tell me, or else no, please tell me, I'll explain again.
Understood, sir.
Okay, yeah. So shall we go to the next question now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So next question, that is question number 5. Any one of you please read. Anyone? Hello, I think
The details regarding the composition and the weekly wage rate of labor forces engaged on a job scheduled to be completed in 20 weeks are as follow. Category of workers. Skilled, number of workers 75, weekly wages rate per worker 60 for standard rate, and for actual number of workers 70, weekly wage rate per worker 70. Semi-skilled 45, 40, 30, 50, and unskilled 60, 30, 80, and 20. The work is actually completed in 22 weeks. Calculate all the labor variance.
okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Ma. So here he has given us to do a particular job. They are using 3 different categories of workers. So skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So he has given a standard number of workers who are involved in doing a particular job, and he has given for actual as well as standard, and weekly wage rate per worker is given. Okay, wage rate per worker is given. So the schedule to be completed in 20 weeks. That means what is that? Is it as actual or standard? 20 weeks. The job scheduled to be completed in 20 weeks. Okay, and they say the work is actually completed in 22 weeks. That means 20 weeks is a standard. They have to complete it, but they have taken 22 weeks. Okay, so that is the meaning of that. Got it? So he has given us that. So what you are supposed to calculate? We have to calculate all the labor variances. Okay, yeah. So they're very simple. There's nothing much to explain in the question. So we will put that. We will first do the basic calculations. Okay. Let me open the question, the spreadsheet. Is the spreadsheet visible, students? Are you able to see the spreadsheet?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So first we have to do the, as I said earlier, whenever there are more number of workers are given, different categories of workers are given, okay, we have to do the basic calculation. Even for the material variance also, when more materials are used to manufacture a product, then you have to write that. Okay. So let us write skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled workers categories. And here we need to calculate the actually the hours. We need to calculate the standard hours. Here he has not given hours, he has given us weeks. Okay, so we have to calculate how much week it is taken total weeks they are taken to do the job. Okay, that is skilled, semi-skilled, and unskilled. So how to calculate that? It's very simple. You have to multiply the number of workers which is given there in the table, and then number of weeks, that is standard weeks. So you can see here, let me show the question here again. So number of workers he has given us. There is a standard workers 75, 45, and 60. And standard weeks is 20. Okay. So you have to multiply that 75 into 20. Similarly, 45 into 20 and 60 into 20. Okay. So please calculate. So 75 into 20, how much will get?
3.75 rate.
3? No.
3.75 rate.
No. 75 into 20 multiply. How much are you getting?
1,500.
Yeah, 1,500. Yeah. And then second one, 45 into 20.
900.
900. Yeah. And then 60. 60 into 20.
1200.
1200.
200.
Correct. Got it, students? And now rate he has directly given us. You can take that rates that he has given for skills 60, semi-skill 40 and unskilled 30. So write that 60, 40, 30. Okay. Now we have to calculate the amount. Just very simple. Multiply the weeks into rate. Multiply, how much you'll get?
90,000.
Which one? Unskilled, right?
Unskilled. No, sir, is skill.
Skilled. Okay, 90,000 skilled, correct. Next, calculate for unskilled.
36,000.
36,000, correct. Unskilled, sorry, semi-skilled is over. Unskilled,
Same.
how much?
36.
36,000.
36,000.
Yeah. So now you calculate the total. The total weeks you calculate how much you're getting. That means 1,500 plus 900 plus 1,200. How much you'll get? Add that.
1,62,000.
3,600.
3,600 is correct. And now you add the amount.
1,62,000.
1 lakh
62,000.
52. All of you getting same answer, students? Yes or no? Yeah, the answer is correct. Whatever is told is correct. See, if you're not getting, please check once again. Next, now we have to calculate for actual. Again, he has given actual number of workers, and the actual the work is actually completed in 22 weeks. So now we have to multiply the number of workers into 22 weeks. So calculate now 70 into 22.
1,540.
5.
1,540.
1,540 is correct. Next, 30 into 22.
660.
660, correct. Next, 80 into 22.
1,760.
1,760. Yeah. Now you total it. Total weeks, how much you're getting?
3,960.
3,960.
3,960. Okay. Yeah. Now rates he has given us directly again. No need to calculate anything. So directly you can take it. That is 70, 50, and 20. So copy it down. 70, 50, and 20. So now you multiply with the rate into weeks. You'll get
1
the
lakh
total
7,800.
cost. Pardon?
1,07,800, sir.
Okay.
Skilled.
Next, semi-skilled
33,000.
33,000. Then unskilled
35,200.
35,200. So now you calculate total of all the amount.
1,76,000.
1,76,000. Others, how much you're getting?
Same, sir. 1,76,000.
Same. Okay. 1,76,000 is correct. Got it? So we have prepared the basic table. So once you are done that, your work will be very easy. Okay. So he is asking us to calculate all the labor variances. So we will calculate. So first we will calculate labor cost variance. The formula is very simple. Standard hours into actual rate. Sorry, standard hours into a standard rate minus actual hour into actual rate. Nothing but what is the value? That is nothing but your standard cost minus actual cost. We have already calculated that. The total cost we already calculated. This is a 1,62,000 is the standard cost, total standard cost, and actual also is we already calculated. That is 1,76,000. So we can directly write that. That is why we have done this table calculation. So they don't need to do again. So standard cost we got how much? 1,62,000, and actual cost we got 1,76,000. So please substitute, and then you minus that to get the variance.
14,000.
14,000.
14.
Adverse or favorable?
Adverse.
Yeah, you should tell me that also because that is very important. If you don't tell that in the, even if you don't write that in the exam, you will lose marks, students. Okay, you have to mention whether it's adverse or favorable. Next, labor rate variance. So labor rate variance, that is standard rate minus actual rate into actual hours. Okay, since here we have different category of workers, so we need to calculate separately. So we have to calculate separately for each category, that is skilled, semi-skilled and unskilled. Okay, so standard rate, how much is standard rate given in the question? For skilled,
60,
60 rupees, and actual rate for actual
70,
skilled, 70. Okay, 60 and 70. So it is 60 minus 70 into actual hours. How much is the actual hours? We have done calculation, no? For skilled, actual hours is how much?
1540.
Yeah, 1540. So let us substitute now.
15,400
T minus
adverse.
70 into 1540. So how much will get?
15,400 adverse.
15,400 adverse.
Adverse.
Correct. Yeah. Next, semi-skilled. Same way you have to do for the semi-skilled and unskilled. So semi-skilled standard rate is 40, actual is 30, and then actual hours. How much is actual hours?
660.
Actual hours is 660. Yeah. So substitute now.
9,900.
So 40 minus
Favorable.
50 into 660. How much will get?
9,900.
6,600.
No.
6,600 adverse.
6,600 adverse. Yeah. Next, unskilled. How much is given us? 30, 80, and hours. How much we have? Actual hours?
1,760.
Yeah. 1,760. So substitute now. 30 minus 20 into 1,760.
17,600 favorable.
1,600
600.
favorable.
Favorable.
Okay. Then labor efficiency variance. So now you have to calculate total because it's 3 are there. How much are getting total? Calculate total labor rate variance.
4,400 adverse.
4,400.
Adverse.
Yeah. 4,400 adverse. Correct. Next, labor efficiency variance we have to calculate. So the formula is standard hours for actual output minus actual hours into standard rate. Okay. So again, we have 3 categories so we have to do separately like we done earlier. First, labor rate. Okay. So standard hours and actual hours minus standard rate. So for skilled, how much we got? Standard hours 1,500, actual hours 1,540, and standard rate is 60. So please substitute. So calculate how much you'll get.
2,400 adverse.
2,400 adverse. Okay. Next, semi-skilled. Yes, we have calculated already. That is standard hours is 900 and actual hours is 660 and standard rate is 40. So 900 minus 660 into 40.
9,600
Substitute
favorable.
that. Yeah, and calculate the rate variance. How much you're getting?
9,600 favorable.
9,600 correct. Favorable, right? And the last one, unskilled. So standard hours is 1,200. Actual hours is 1,760. Standard rate is 30. So 1,200 minus 1,760 minus 30 into 30. So please
16,800.
16,800 adverse.
16,800
Adverse.
right? Yeah. Now you calculate total.
9,600 adverse.
9,600 adverse is correct. All of you got, student, this answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. See, I expect everyone to calculate, not only those who are answering, even those who are not able to answer, please calculate. Okay, don't just sit like that. Please calculate. And next, we have to calculate material mix variance. So, what is the formula? RSH. What do you mean by RSH? What do you mean by RSH, students?
Revise.
Yeah, earlier we had RSQ, right? For material variance, now it is RSH. Revised standard hours. Revised standard hours. Okay. So we have to calculate this whenever there is a different combinations are there. So if the standard hours and actual hours total, if it is same, then only to calculate RSH. You can directly take standard hours only. You can check here. Should we calculate here or no? Is it same or different? See, the total standard hours is 1600 here, but actual is how much?
3,960.
3600 is standard and 3960 is actual. So there is a difference. So whenever there is a difference, we have to calculate the revised standard hours. RSH we have to calculate. So we will calculate now. So what is the formula? Standard hours of grade, that is one grade of employee or the category of worker divided by total standard hours, put together all the three category of workers into total actual hours. Okay. So tell me now, for skilled, how much we got standard hours? 1500, and total standard hours is 3600, and actual is 3960. So 1500 divided by 3960 into 3600 into 3960. So please substitute here. So calculate how much you'll get for skilled RSH. Quickly, students.
1,650.
1650 is correct. Adverse, sir, favorable. Okay, no, this is
Favorable.
already, we are only calculating rate, no need of that. Yeah, we're only calculating the hours, not the variance. Yeah, so it is hours, right? So we are giving the hours in terms of weeks here. So 1650 weeks. Next, semi-skilled, you calculate similarly. How much is semi-skilled standard hours? That is 900.
900.
So calculate now. 900 divided by 3650 into 3960.
990.
990.
990 weeks, right? 990 is correct. Now unskilled, how much we got, student? Unskilled standard hours
1200.
1200. So write down 1200 divided by 3600 into 3960.
1,320.
1320. Others, how much are getting?
Same, sir.
Same. Yeah. So now we got the revised standard hours. Now we can apply that in material labor variance formula, material mix variance formula, and then we can calculate the labor mix variance. So please write down. So labor mix variance formula is RSH minus AH into RS. Okay. So skilled, how much is standard hours? We calculate now. Revised standard hours
1,650.
minus actual hour. How much is actual hour for skilled? 1540. Yeah, 1540. And multiplied by standard rate. How much is standard rate? 60. Okay. So let us substitute now.
6,600 favorable.
Yeah, please don't tell the answer till I ask, because not everybody can calculate so fast. So please keep the answer with you. So this is the substitution. 1650 minus 1540 into 60. So please calculate and tell me now answer how much you'll get.
6,600.
6,600. Adverse or favorable?
Favorable.
Favorable. Okay. Next, semi-skilled. So RSH we got 99990, and standard is how much? 900, and then standard rate is 40. So please write down. And actual rate is how much for semi-skilled? 660. Yeah, actual hours is 660. So please write down. So 990 minus 660 into 40. Students, all of you calculate.
13,200 favorable.
13,200 favorable. All of you getting same answer? Yes or no? 13,200 everybody got?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Then unskilled RSH we got 1,320. How much is actual hours and standard rate? Actual hours for some unskilled is 1,760, and then standard rate is 30. So please substitute now. So how much will get?
13,200 adverse.
How much?
13,200 adverse.
13,200 adverse. Yeah. So now you calculate the total. How much will get?
6,600 favorable.
Yeah. It's very easy because both are negative, semi-skilled and unskilled. One is negative, one is positive, will get cancelled, and remaining is 660, 6,600. Anything else we left out? One more variance, which is that anybody remembers? Labor mix variance we have done.
Idle time.
Yeah. Idle time he has not given us, so there is no need to calculate because he has not given information about idle time. But revised efficiency variance and yield variance we can calculate. Okay. So write down now. So standard hours minus RSH. RSH already we calculated, same we can use, into standard rate. Okay. So we have to calculate for all the three categories of employees or workers. So standard rate, standard hours for skilled is how much? That is 1,500. So 1,500, and standard rate is 60. 1,560. So substitute now. And RSH, how much we got? RSH we got here. We will copy this and keep it there so that it will be easy for me to refer. Because again, I have to come down and check it. Yeah. So RSH for skilled we got 1,650. Okay, let us substitute now. So calculate how much will get? 1,500 minus 1,650 into 60. How much we are getting?
$9,000 adverse.
9,000 adverse. Okay, next semi-skilled. Standard hours and actual rate, how much? Standard hours is 900, actual rate is 40, 940, and RSH we got 990. So substitute now. 900 minus 990 into 40.
3,600 adverse.
3,600
adverse.
adverse. Yeah, that's correct. Then unskilled we have standard hours 1,200, and what else we need? Standard rate is 30, 1,230, and RSH we got how much for unskilled? Here it is 1,320. So substitute now and calculate.
3,600 adverse.
3,600
adverse.
adverse. Yeah. So now you calculate total. How much are you getting?
16,200
Adverse or favorable?
adverse.
Adverse.
Adverse, yeah. Okay, so we got labor revised efficiency variance 16,200 adverse. Okay, yeah. And the last one we have to calculate is labor yield variance. Labor yield variance. Okay, idle time you calculate only if the idle time is given. If it is not given, so don't assume anything and don't calculate. If it is not given, it's understood that there is no need to calculate. Okay, so don't calculate that. But yield variance we can calculate. So the formula for yield variance is actual yield minus standard yield into standard labor cost per unit of output. Per unit of output. Okay. So now we have to calculate how much is actual yield and standard yield. Yield is nothing but the produce. Okay. So whatever they have produced. So how much is produced and what is the output? Is it given? It's not given actually. The output is not given here. So what we can do is we can take actual as 1. That means 100% as actual yield. Actually, you can take it as 1. And standard yield we have to calculate. I will give the formula how to calculate the standard yield. Okay, that is the formula. So the formula is actual output divided by standard hours into total hours. Okay, total actual hours. So actual output we will take it as 100%. That is nothing but 1. We'll take it as 1. If your actual yield is 1, so how much is standard yield? We are going to calculate now. Got it, student? So we will take that. So we'll take actual output as 1, and total standard hours is how much? And total actual hours. How much we have calculated earlier? Yeah, it's already there. So standard hours is how much we got?
1,60,000.
No, that is the total amount. Hours. Standard
Oh,
hours only.
3,600 hours.
600 and actual hours is 3,960. Okay, 3,960. So calculate now 1 divided by 3,600 into 3,960. So how much will get?
1.09.
1 point.
1.1.
0.9 will
1.09.
get, you can take it as 1.1. Yeah, 1.1 you can take. So that is what we got. Actual yield is 1 and standard yield is 1.1. Okay, so they're actually lagging behind in doing that. And then we have to calculate standard labor cost per unit. Standard labor cost per unit, how to calculate? Yeah. So we don't know, we don't have the output. So we will take the entire standard cost what we got. How much we got standard cost? Total standard cost 1,620,000. 1,62,000. So we will take that same value. 1,62,000. Actually, we should divide it by the output, but since we don't have the output, so we'll take the total amount only. So now you calculate, students, how much will get?
16,200.
The yield, how much will get? 16,200.
200 adverse.
Yeah, that is adverse. Obviously, it will come adverse. Yeah. Actually, the standard should be 1.1, but they've done only 1. So that is why we are getting the adverse. Got it, students? So we have done all the variances. Okay. So now we have to do the checking, like how we used to do earlier. We have to do the checking whether my labor cost variance is equal to labor rate variance and labor efficiency variance. Now tell me quickly, you already have the answers. Please tell me how much is labor cost variance, how much is labor rate variance, how much is labor efficiency variance. Yeah. How much we got labor cost variance? 14,000 adverse, and labor rate 4,400 adverse, and efficiency 9,600 adverse. So please substitute now in this equation. So check whether it's your right hand side is equal to left hand side. Is the equation tallying? Quickly.
Yes, sir.
Simple
14,000.
numbers. Yeah, you can do it without even using calculator. Yeah, it is tallying. So both the side we are getting 14,000 adverse. And next we have to check even the subvariances of efficiency variance. So what are the subvariance of efficiency variance? That is labor mix variance and labor revised efficiency variance or labor yield variance. Any one we can use because both answer will be same. I told no in the yesterday's class. Can you check it here? Both the answer will be same. Yield variance, revised yield variance, how much we got? Labor revised efficiency variance 16,200 adverse. Yield variance, how much we got? 16,200. I said right, both will get same answer. So any one you can use to check the accuracy. So labor yield variance is already here 9,600 adverse. Let me write that. And mix variance, how much we got? 6,600 favorable. 6,600 favorable. And labor yield variance we got 16,200 adverse. So please calculate. Is it equal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that is the equal answer. That means whatever you have done is correct. Any doubts in labor variances calculation? So in the exam, you will get for section B either material variance or labor variance. Compulsory one question will come. So please memorize the formulas and please practice calculation of variances. Any doubts are there, you can let me know. Okay, students. So shall we go to the next topic now? Any doubts? Any doubts? Or if no doubts, we can go to the next topic. Anybody has any doubt in variances? Yes or no? Please respond. Shall we go to the next topic? Next topic we have marginal costing and CVP analysis. It's a very small topic. We can try to finish it. Yeah. So you're able to see, students, marginal costing, and you're able to see my PPT?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So marginal cost and CVP analysis. So there are different types of costing actually. It's not for your syllabus, so we didn't discuss in depth. But two costs you should understand. One is absorption costing and marginal costing. When I say absorption costing, so we are going to calculate the total cost. We are going to consider the total cost as a cost of production. That is total cost. When I say it is fixed cost and variable cost. And in the marginal costing, we'll consider only the variable cost. Why only variable cost? Because only variable cost is charged to the cost unit. And what about the fixed cost? They will take that as a period cost and they'll be charging to P&L account. Okay, that is why the marginal cost is also called as variable costing or variable cost accounting. Okay, so absorption costing is total cost we're going to consider, that is fixed and variable, and marginal costing will consider only the variable cost. Clear? So the one of the extension of the principles of variable costing, nothing but marginal costing, is CVP analysis. As the word CVP means cost, volume, profit. So it's very, very important in the management accounting because it helps the management to do the profit planning. So whatever the profit the company has to earn, okay, so whenever they have to fix a target, see every year the company will fix a target, okay, this much the profit is we have to earn next year. So they'll fix a target. So how are they going to fix the target? By using again CVP analysis. Okay, so CVP analysis studies the interrelationship between three basic factors of business operations. One is called cost of production. It's very, very important. And then volume of production or volume of sales, how much they have to produce or how much they have to sell, and then profit. And all these three are actually interlinked. If you can say, for example, if your cost of production increases, what will happen to your sales? Will the sales will increase or decrease?
Increase.
When the cost of production increasing, what will happen to your sales? Whether sales will increase or decrease?
Decrease, sir.
Normal rate. Yeah, in a normal scenario, it will decrease. Sales will decrease. When sales decrease, what will happen to the profit?
Profit also decreases, sir.
Profit also decreases. Got it now? So you take any one of the factors and you do any changes in any one of the factor, what happens automatically? It will affect the remaining two factors. So that is why there is a interrelationship between these three factors. That's why it is very popular in known as CVP analysis: cost, volume, and profit. Got it? So that is what we will learn more about that, and it explains the following things like changes in selling price. So what will be the effect on the net profit? Okay, and if I change the volume of sales, what will be the effect on the net profit? If I change the variable cost or if I change the fixed cost, what will be the effect on the profit? So that we can study using that. Okay, so one of the important and widely used technique to study the CVP relationship is break-even analysis. Many of you might have heard this or you might have learned it, okay, in different courses also, or in your graduation you might have learned it. So break-even analysis is actually the technique used to study the cost, volume, profit relationship. And it has two meanings. One is narrow meaning and broad meaning. Normally when I say break-even analysis, then normally immediately people will say, I have to calculate BEP. What is BEP? Break-even point. What is break-even point? It is a point where there is no profit, no loss. That means you're going to earn this much of revenue. So when you earn that particular revenue, which will make your company no profit, no loss. That means you're not in the profit or you're not in the loss also, but you are in the break-even point. That is the normal sense. But in a broader way, it is actually very, very useful to determine the profit or loss at a given level of production. Okay, if this is a sales I'm doing, how much profit I can expect, or this much production I'm going to produce. So what will be the profit or loss I can easily calculate by using BEP. Similarly, the amount or volume of sales to earn a desired amount of profit. It can be either way also. So if you want to know, okay, this much is the profit I want to earn. So then you can calculate how much I have to sell. That means how many units of sales I have to do, how many units I have to sell. So that you can calculate. So this is a broader meaning or broader scope of break-even analysis. You can calculate desired profit for a given number of sales, or you can calculate number of sales you have to earn to earn the desired profit. So you can use it for calculating that. That is why this particular topic is very, very helpful for the management. Okay. So coming to this, we are going to first when you call the break-even point, normally we study the contribution. So what is contribution? It's very simple. It's the difference between selling price minus variable cost. Okay. So when I take a sales and minus the variable cost, I will get contribution. You can see here down. Are you able to see me? See the here? Can you see sales minus variable cost? If I do, I'll get contribution. I think you might have learned this in leverages. I think corporate finance. I think Baby sir has taught you. And from the contribution, if you minus fixed cost, I will get profit. Got it, student? So we can use this formula. We can rechange it and we can calculate it. And we can even calculate contribution the reverse way. In the reverse way also you can calculate contribution. That is nothing but fixed cost plus profit. When I add, I'll again get back contribution. Okay. So it can be fixed cost plus profit, or even you can use this equation to calculate profit also. So profit will be equal to contribution minus fixed cost, or it can be loss also. Sometimes it will be loss also. So fixed cost minus loss, even if I do that, I'll get the contribution. Got it? So there are different formulas to calculate the contribution. Okay, and PV ratio. What is PV ratio? What is PV ratio? Profit volume ratio is better known as the contribution by sales or contribution divided by sales, and it expresses the relation between contribution to sales. That's very, very important and is very useful in our calculation of BEP, break-even point. So again, there are different formulas you can use. So PV ratio is nothing but the formula is contribution divided by sales. Very simple. Contribution divided by sales, and contribution is sales minus variable cost divided by sales. So already we know contribution how to calculate, sales minus variable cost, and divide that by sales, you'll get the you'll get the sales value. So by transposition, we can calculate even contribution by sales is equal to no, we will you do this cross multiplication, you will get contribution is equal to sales into PV ratio. When I have sales, when I have PV ratio, if I multiply, I'll get contribution. And next, we can even calculate sales if I have contribution and PV ratio. So contribution divided by PV ratio will give me sales. Okay. We can calculate one small problem on PV ratio. Do we have time? Yeah, we have time. We'll do a small problem quickly. Question number 6. Can someone read question number 6? Anyone, student? Any one of you, please read quickly. So he has given us, we have to calculate PV ratio for different individual or independent situations. So he has given us variable cost and contribution. Okay, and we have to calculate PV ratio. So we'll do one by one. I'll explain as we do it one by one. Okay. Are you able to see the screen, students? Yes or no? Please confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first scenario. So all are independent scenarios. We have to calculate for all the scenarios PV ratio. So what is the formula for PV ratio? Just now I told.
Contribution divided by sales.
Sales. Very simple. And how to calculate contribution? Sales minus variable cost. Okay. Yeah. So first one is given variable cost and contribution. But what is missing in this scenario?
Sales amount.
Sales. So how to calculate sales?
Variable cost plus contribution.
Yeah. So sales
And-
minus variable cost will get contribution. So when I again add it back, when I add contribution and variable cost, I'll get sales. Okay. That way we can calculate. So read on. So contribution divided by sales. So sales I don't know. So we have to write variable cost plus contribution. So how much we have? Contribution is 40 and variable cost is 60. So 40 divided by 60 plus 40. So that's about 100. So 40 divided by 100. How much will get? Students? Quickly.
0.4.
Yeah, multiply by 100. It's normally we give it in percentage. How much will get?
40%.
40%. Yeah. And next one, he has given sales and he has given variable cost, but contribution is not there. So how to calculate contribution?
Sales minus variable cost.
Yeah. How much will get? 20
5,
minus
sir.
15.
5.
20 minus 15. Yeah. We'll get 5. That is nothing but sales minus variable cost. 20 minus 15 divided by 20. How much you getting?
Same, sir. 40%.
40%. No. Is that
25%.
25%.
25 getting? Yeah. Next one. He has given ratio of variable cost to sales. That is 84%. Ratio of variable cost to sales is 40%. Okay. So we all know that sales always will be 100%. So just minus that variable cost ratio will get the PV ratio. That is 100 minus 84. How much will get?
16.
16%.
16. Yeah. Next, you have given us profit. He has given sales. He has given fixed cost. He has given, but contribution is not given. Variable cost he has not given. So how to calculate contribution?
Sales minus variable cost.
Variable cost is not given. I showed no various equation for contribution, how to calculate contribution. Now you tell me.
Sir, fixed cost plus profit.
Yeah, we can use this equation. Fixed cost plus profit. Yeah. Fixed cost is 8,000, profit is 5,000. So when you add, how much you'll get? 13,000, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So 25,000 is sales. 13,000 divided by 25,000. So write it. So fixed cost plus profit is give me contribution. So 30,000 divided by 25. How much you'll get?
52% is
50.
2%.
Yeah. And next one, he has given us 2 years data.
Sir, we
He has
didn't-
given us, yeah.
Sir, we didn't calculate third one. 16%.
Third one, huh?
Yes, sir.
We're done now. 16% we got now. Third one.
Sure, sir.
Yeah, this one you're done. 84% is given. Sales is 100%. So the variable cost ratio is 84%. So 100 minus 84, just you have to do. Okay. And the last one, he has given us 2 years data. One is sales and one is total cost he has given us. Okay. So when the 2 years data is given, I'll give you one formula. You can use that formula to calculate the PV ratio. So this is the formula: change in profit divided by change in sales. So why we take that as that, you can see here, contribution is equal to fixed cost plus profit we will take, and normally fixed cost will be constant, it will not change. So we'll take it as nil or 0. Then what happens? Your contribution will be equal to profit. Okay, when the change is happening, first year, second year, if you do, the change will be 0. That means fixed cost will be normally constant, it will not change for 2 years. So that's what I'm telling, 0. So that is why we will take the percentage of profit. Okay, so that's the formula. Percentage change in profit divided by change in sales. But first you have to calculate what? Profit. So how to calculate profit?
Sales, total sales minus total cost.
Yeah. So I know sales, I know total cost. So cost minus sales. Okay, sorry, sales minus total cost. When you minus that, you'll get the profit. So calculate now for both the years. So first year is 50,000.
10,000.
Cost is 40,000. So how much you'll get?
10,000.
10,000. Next, 60,000 sales, 45,000 cost.
15,000.
15,000. Yeah. 15,000. Clear, students? So now we got that. So now we can do the formula calculation. So change in profit divided by change in sales. So we got 2 years profit, that is 15,000 minus 10,000, and sales we have 15,000 and 60,000. So let us do now. So calculate now. So change in profit are written here. Second year minus first year, that is 15,000 minus 10,000, and similarly sales also. Second year sales minus first year sales. How much are you getting?
0.55.
0.
50% is.
Yeah, we'll get 5,000 divided by 10,000, right?
Yes,
So
sir.
what we'll get? 50% is correct. Got it, students? This
Yes,
is
sir.
how we have to calculate the PV ratio. And PV ratio is very much useful to calculate break-even point. That's why we have to use PV ratio. Okay. So we'll stop now. I think time is up. We have one more class, right? So we have another 3 problems, 7, 8, and 9, and 10. 4 problems. We will do it on Monday. Okay. Monday we'll have 1 hour class. 1 hour I think we can finish. 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we will have it on Monday. Okay, students.